Welcome to the last and final part of Morocco vlogs. This vlog contains both day 3 and day 4. Day 4 was not a full day. Day 3 is our last full day here. Hence why I combined both the vlogs. And we're starting off with breakfast as usual. While we're having breakfast, we're just talking about the differences between how Lena has in her house to how the breakfast is here. Lena is actually Moroccan, so she has Moroccan breakfast every day at home as well. And again, they change up day to day. So today I think we had pastries instead of cakes, and it was really good. Straight after breakfast we headed out, and this was the first spot. This was not on the agenda, but we saw someone making hot food and we couldn't pass it by. It looked very similar to paratha, and this lovely lady was so nice. So we were just asking her, what was the stuffing? And she said it's onions and spices. So we were like, okay, we have to try it. She took basically not using a spatula to a whole nother level. That pan was so hot, like I could feel the heat radiating off it, and she was just touching that with her bare hands. And then she also gave us some tea on the house. So as you do, you sat down and decided to eat all this good food. There's Urvi trying it first. I think Urvi was the first person to spot it and was like, oh, we have to try this. And then there's Lena talking to the locals. The locals are very into Shah Rukh Khan. I don't know if I mentioned in another vlog, but they very much love Shah Rukh Khan. I think there was times where we were telling people that Urvi is Shah Rukh Khan's cousin, and it was honestly so comical. Back to the agenda, we're heading to the Agadir mountains. So we actually called a InDrive. InDrive is actually very similar to Uber. The only thing is, InDrive is actually illegal in Morocco, so a lot of people use it, and a lot of locals actually work on the app. The only thing that surprised me was, if it's illegal, why is the app still allowed? I guess the taxi drivers would want just taxis to be used because, they could, regulate the rates. With InDrive, the cool thing is it's very much like a stock market. So you can put a price in, and if the driver doesn't accept, he can give you a price back that he's more willing to take on. So I thought that was a good way to go about it. So you can definitely negotiate on the app on what price you're willing to pay. And after the commotion was dealt with, so what happened was that white car that was there was just blocking the way and didn't want to move. Now we're en route. Look at this view. Oh my god, it was spectacular. You can see the mountains, and it's snow-capped mountains. We went in Feb, right? So it wasn't even that cold, but there was snow around top of the mountains, which was such a cool view. I can imagine in the winter it gets really cold, especially if you live closer to the mountains. Here's a close-up view so you can get a better view of what I'm looking at. And as we're moving out of the city, people start dressing differently, and it makes sense why, because it's a lot colder here compared to the city. Just before we entered the mountains, there's a check post where they check the reason for visit, and our InDrive driver was questioned a lot, being like, is he an InDrive driver? And we were asking, oh, is he an InDrive driver? Why is he coming here? We just said, oh, he's our family friend who's helping us out. So that's something to be wary of. And as we reached the mountain, the views were so pretty. They had all these walnuts that they were selling along the way, and these are like fresh walnuts, so they were cracked in that moment. And here's Urvi trying to show us a trick about how you cannot spill water if it's half full, and we kept asking her to do it again and again as like a full spin. So here's her showing a full demonstration. And then we were heading up the mountain and walking up. It was actually quite okay. It wasn't steep, but there was so many different stones, and my fear is when I walk up these mountains is that I'm gonna twist my ankle because I can't put my foot placement right. And then we came back down. That took around like 1 hour and a bit. It took us 1 hour because we didn't do the full climb. We just reached a few landmarks and came back down. Remember, I told you this is more of a chilled holiday. It's not very much about hitting spots. It's more about just enjoying the process. And as we came back down, there were people performing at different tents. And I don't know what I call this. The seating arrangement was all on the floor. And it was really cute because cats would come by. And there's so many cats in Morocco, and in Agadir, near the Agadir mountains as well. And as we were eating, different cats would come by just hoping that we would feed them something, and they loved meat, and we didn't have much meat. InDrive driver ordered meat, so he literally gave half of his meal to the cat, and it was so nice of him. He was literally feeding them constantly. I think the cats ate more than he did, and we all got tagines to share. It went really well with this cold weather. Once we were back in Morocco, we headed straight to a massage parlor / beauty salon, and we all three got a 1 hour massage, and then we went to get some ice cream. We did this thing where we get 1 scoop of ice cream to the 3 of us, but it takes us literally 10 minutes to choose that 1 scoop. And when the shopkeepers look at us, they think, oh, we're going to order so much because we're discussing this decision for like 10 minutes. And little do they know it's just for 1 scoop of ice cream. And the number of people that have laughed at us is a lot. Straight after, we headed for dinner and we went to this Thai restaurant. We generally order vegetarian food when we're abroad. That's because Urvi's vegetarian. Also, Lena
prefers eating vegetarian food when she's away from home because she eats a lot of meat at home. And I used to be vegetarian, so I love vegetarian food. So I'm all for eating vegetarian food when we are out. And we ordered this tofu, green curry, a pad thai, I believe, and some spring rolls. And I think the best thing we ate in that restaurant was the spring rolls, and the pina colada drink was really good. But other than that, we were literally cooking at the table. We had to add so many spices and soy sauce and chili sauce in order to make it taste good. And there's Lena being like, yeah, I think you need it, whether you want it or not, you need it. And the tofu was actually cheese. It wasn't tofu. And Lena was telling us, oh yes, in Morocco we don't do tofu, so we use an alternative, which is cheese, to make it seem like tofu. And honestly, it was the weirdest thing I've ever had in a curry. I was just like, literal cheese and curry. It was weird. It was also more the concept of thinking I'm eating tofu, but it's actually cheese. Okay, now we move on to day 4, the last day we have in Morocco. It's not even a full day. So today was very much a shopping day. We were like, okay, we need to get all the things we need to get that we have on the list. So I wanted some coasters, and they had the prettiest coasters, and they had like gold painting in them, which was so pretty. And then after that, my friend from London wanted some argan oil, and she was like, I want to see it being made. I don't want nothing that's already been pre-canned. She was like, I want to see it being made fresh, and that's what you need to get me. So there is the shopkeeper trying to explain how he makes the argan oil, and here's the argan oil being filtered out. And I got 2 bottles of that, and I think that cost me £30. And I think I got a pretty decent deal on it. But the thing was, I was like, okay, I'm getting it made in front of me, and he let us try it out. Because we tried out another shop, and I think it was mixed with other oils, so it didn't actually sink into the skin. One trick when you're buying argan oil is that when you try it, it should sink straight into your skin. It shouldn't be like sitting on top of your skin. And that's what Lena told me. So I was like, okay, let's try and see if this sinks into my skin. And it actually did, and my skin was super smooth after that. There's him giving us some to try to see, okay, see if you like it before you buy it. I didn't rub it in, but once I rubbed it in, it was really smooth. Urwi wanted to get some amlu. She is obsessed with amlu. So it's this paste made from almonds, honey, and argan oil. It's so good, but it's so fattening. Obviously something now I would eat on a daily basis, but Uri sure can afford to eat it. So she wanted to get, I think she got 500 grams of it. But the sad thing was, when we went to the airport, they made us throw it out because we didn't have checked-in luggage, and we only had hand luggage, and we thought that liquids wouldn't be an issue, but it was. And she had to throw all of that away, and she paid quite a bit of money for it as well. Here's them mixing it up. I think looking back at it, it makes me just sad seeing, we had to throw all that good sauce of amlu out. There's them mixing the honey, and then they mixed in argan oil based on the consistency that you want. So they make it based on how you want it, and then they let you try out. If you want to add anything more or less, they let you do that as well. So it's a very much a personalized service, and I think it's really good, especially if you want to get amlu. You should get it from me. I'll leave the details in the link down below on which shop this was. This was in pretty much the center of Marrakesh, so if any of you want to go visit, I think this will be a good place for you to go buy your souvenirs, especially if it's something edible like amlu or argan oil. After it was all mixed up, it was poured into this 500 ml container, and they also packaged it really nice for us to be able to carry it, because they cling filmed it all around so it wouldn't leak as we were traveling. And they also were super friendly, and they all gave us, I think everyone in the shop at that point tried this amlu to get a taste of it, and Urvi was super impressed. She was like, exactly what I wanted. The next stop was a sweet shop. Lena needed to buy some sweets to take back to London in preparation for Ramadan. Her mom said, I can't be asked making it, please just buy it and bring it over. And this sweet, I don't know what it was called, it was crunchy on the inside, it had a sugar syrup on the outside, coated with sesame seeds, banging. And all this was only £3. In London, this would have been more than £20. And then after that, we headed to Chili's. I've never seen a Chili's outside of Europe. Huge fan of Chili's, especially their molten lava cake, which we had. And I also wanted to get a painting to add to my collection at home. And I think I got the top one there with the white men on it. We had some time to kill before the airport, so we headed back to the hotel and played some Uno on the terrace. I just like to take this moment to say, Morocco, you've been great. The people have made the highlight of this trip. We came here for 3 nights and 4 days, and I thought that was the ideal amount of time.
Once we headed to the airport, there was cats in the duty-free point past the check-in. And I wanted to understand what was the story behind these cats. We asked the security guards, and they basically said this woman wanted to take these cats abroad, but she couldn't because she didn't have the vaccinations for them or any kind of documentation in order to take them. So then the people in the airport were just like, okay, since you can't take them, just leave them here. And since then, these 3 cats have just lived in the airport, and I thought that was one of the most interesting parts of my trip. This just goes to show how big Moroccan people's hearts are. And I've just added a few images of cats that I've taken across my trip. Thank you so much for watching. If you like my content, I'd appreciate if you like and subscribe. And I'm going on Japan trip soon, so I'll see you on the next one. Thank you. Bye.